We're moving Gavin into his new room. You're a university student now. Oh, he's so grown up. Hello everybody, how are you doing? I come to you today wearing my favorite piece of university spirit wear because it's that time of year again. It's back to school time! As you saw at the beginning of the video, we packed off my little brother to his first year of university. I'm so old. And since him and a lot of my other younger family and friends are also packing up and heading off to university or college or whatever, and since I'm graduating from my undergraduate program this year, I guess, you know, I have some experience in the field of university. So I figured this week's video would be a good time to pass on some of my wisdom. So here you go. So here's my top 12 tips on how to university. I could probably give you a lot more than 12 if you really wanted them, but I didn't want this video to be too long. We're gonna start with applications. So before you apply to any colleges or universities, do loads and loads of research. Remember, this is a place where you are ideally going to spend maybe 4 or 5 years of your life, so it should meet more than just your academic needs. And yeah, the program that you plan on taking is going to be the main factor in how you decide which university to attend, but that shouldn't be your only consideration. There's a lot of things you should take into account when deciding on a university, including but not limited to things like location. Where is your university? What's the climate like? What's the town like? What are the people like? How far away is it from home? Are you going to be flying out every year like I do, or will you be able to bring home a load of laundry every weekend if you want to? If you have accessibility issues or learning disorders, does your school have facilities that can help you meet those needs most effectively? Because even though you're probably choosing a university based on a specific program, if that university cannot meet your needs, you will be miserable there. Tip number 2, apply as early as possible for admittance and for residence and for scholarships. Your grades might be great and your resume might be filled to bursting, but many university applications involve a certain element of first come, first served, and if you're competing with a lot of students at similar levels to you, you're gonna find it a lot harder to get in, especially if there's limited space in a particular program. Tip number 3, apply for scholarships regardless of how good your academics are. The vast majority of schools have scholarships and bursaries that are targeted at students who either live in certain circumstances, are members of certain programs, whether that's programs on campus or programs off campus. Like there's a scholarship if you're in Girl Guides, for example, or those with special skills, like say leadership skills or special technological skills. These scholarships are designed specifically to attract people with a variety of different skill sets and mindsets to their university to help diversify their student population. So even if your marks maybe aren't the highest, you still have a shot at getting financial aid. Alrighty, going into tip number 4, we're gonna start talking about academics. So for tip number 4, start good study habits early. Now different strategies are going to work best for different people depending on how you learn. Now hopefully by the time you reach university level, you already kind of have an idea of what your strengths are when it comes to studying. Like maybe you're a visual learner who likes to draw diagrams, or a literary learner who likes to read their notes over and over, or an auditory learner who likes to re-listen to lectures and study with video aid and that sort of thing. Maybe you like to study in groups, or maybe you like to study alone, or maybe you like a little bit of both. The point is, figure out what works best for you and use it to the best of your ability. Tip number 5, do not be afraid or ashamed to ask for help if you need it. All universities have resources for these sorts of things. Maybe you can request a tutor to help you study and help you learn your material better if you need help. Or you can meet with your university's writing center to get your essays looked over and see what needs to be changed and what can be improved. Or if there are concepts that you're learning in class that you don't totally understand, then you can make time to meet with your professors and they can help you understand that better on a kind of a one-on-one basis. There are loads of resources available at all universities to help struggling students, and there is no shame in needing help. In fact, the vast majority of first years find their grades drop dramatically when they leave high school and go to university. Tip number 6, get to know your professors. Like I said earlier, you can schedule meetings with your professors to get help with concepts that maybe you don't understand on a one-on-one basis. But aside from that, get on their good side, you know, show them that you are interested in the program and that, you know, you are a good student and that you want to do well in their class, and often they will respond very positively to that. And not only that, but your professors can eventually get you a job. I'm not kidding, this has got me jobs before. Or a job. Last year, I got a part-time job as an undergraduate research assistant for another professor based solely on the recommendation of one of my professors that I had taken a class with before. But in all seriousness, if you are looking for a job, and especially once you graduate and then you actually have to start being a grown-up, being able to get a letter of recommendation from a professor to give to your employer can go a long way in helping you get a job in your field when you're done university. What can I say? It's good to be a teacher's pet. Going into tip number 7. We're going to talk about residence life. For most people, going away to university is the first time in their lives that they really seriously leave home. It's kind of scary. And for the vast majority of you, homesickness is going to happen, but it does not have to be totally devastating, and it doesn't have to ruin your university life. There are lots of ways to combat homesickness, ranging from just keeping your mind on other things to personalizing your space. So that was tip number 7. Tip number 8. I'm maybe not the best qualified to give roommate advice because I've never had a roommate. I was supposed to in my first year, but I didn't. And then after that I decided, you know what, I'm not even gonna bother. I just want to live by myself because I like having my own space. Based on the experiences of other people that I have come to learn from, roommates can be very tricky to deal with. I would suggest basically lining up some ground rules early on if you can. See if you can't get in touch with them before you move in on Facebook and that sort of thing, and get to know each other a little bit before you meet. But definitely lay down some early ground rules for things like inviting people over and having parties. And once you've laid down your ground rules, I'm just gonna say, you might want to get that down in writing. Draw up a roommate agreement that all your roommates then have to sign, and that way for, if whatever reason, some really crazy stuff goes down and there's maybe some legal disputes, you have those rules in writing and you have their signatures saying that they agreed to abide by those rules that you all agreed on together, and that will help with any legal disputes. That probably won't happen, but there are, weird cases, so it's good to be prepared. Tip number 9. Parties can get really wild. You might want to consider getting your more valuable possessions insured. You also might want to invest in a pair of earplugs. Tip number 10. If for whatever reason your residence isn't meeting your specific needs, or if you and your roommate really don't get along, because roommates are often assigned by chance and not everybody always gets someone they're compatible with. That just happens, that's life. That happens sometimes. You just gotta deal with it and move on. But if stuff like that happens, just make sure to know your residence policy. Especially in the case of a roommate that you aren't compatible with, your university should allow you to request a new roommate and or a room change. Now these things, they might take a while. You might have to wait until the next semester. You might not have to wait that long at all. A lot of it's going to depend on who else needs a room change and what else is available on campus. But if you really need a residence change or a roommate change, then there is no reason that your residence coordinator shouldn't take your request seriously. Tip number I'm out of fingers. Tip number 11. If for whatever reason you feel unsafe in your residence or on campus, then you need to tell someone. If you feel unsafe in a specific residence, or if your roommate makes you feel unsafe, then call your residence advisor and your residence coordinators and they can help you deal with the problem. Whether that means a residence change or a roommate change or even contacting the local authorities in really extreme cases, then do what needs to be done to protect yourself. Same thing goes for on-campus. Most on-campus programs will have a safe walk home program. If you don't feel safe walking to and from your residence or to and from night classes or whatever, you can call a res walk program and they will send one of their operatives over and they will walk you to and from class or to and from your residence so that you don't have to walk alone in the dark or somewhere where you feel it's unsafe. Campus security as well exists for a reason. Same goes for teachers and classmates. If anybody at all is making you feel uncomfortable or unsafe on campus, then you need to report them so that that situation can be changed. You might be there for the academics, but nevertheless, your safety and your well-being have to be put first. Every student has the right to feel safe on their campus. And finally, tip number 12, university is supposed to be a really great time. Now, I'm not gonna say that it's gonna be the best years of your entire life because it's only 4 or 5 years out of the however many decades that you have to live. It better not be the best years of your entire life, at least not on their own. But you should be able to enjoy your university career while it lasts, and a big part of that is just learning how to balance your lifestyle. Everything's probably gonna seem pretty overwhelming at first, and that's normal. But as you start to get into the swing of things, then you'll be able to balance your time and your lifestyle more easily. Every first year at any university I've ever met, I have always told them that the most valuable lesson you will ever learn is not going to be in class. The most valuable skill you will learn at university is how to manage your time. Now, I hear a lot of jokes from university students about how with their lifestyle they can either have sleep, social life, or good grades, but they can't have all three at the same time. They can only have like one or two. But I'm going to tell you that that is a lie. Those people are lying liars who lie. They just haven't learned how to manage their time effectively. You can have a pretty decent social life and you can still get good grades. You just have to learn how to budget your time and be able to stick to that time budget, and you'll be fine. Within a couple of years, you guys who are watching me right now who are nervous about going to university will be able to give your own advice to first year students coming in. And when you think about it, that's kind of a comforting thought. I mean, everybody knows that with experience comes wisdom. At least I like to think it's wisdom. And if there's gonna be anywhere that you learn that sort of stuff, it might as well be at university. I mean, if you're gonna pay hundreds of thousands of dollars just to be there, I sure as hell hope you come away learning something. Anyway, and I better cut this short before it turns into like a 20-minute video or something. If you guys want any more university and school related advice, let me know in the comments or on my Facebook page. Best of luck to all the university students just starting or returning. See you guys next week.